will work. And if you're confused as hell when I'm talking about phase 1, 2, or 3, watch my friggin' micro-content video and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Emeroy TV, the place to move, groove, and grow, and today is Biz Tuesday. Every Tuesday I share with you guys social media marketing tips that my company at Vision Paradox implements with our clients, so that way you guys can grow your personal brand, small business, shirt company, supplement, whatever it is that you're using social media for. So if it's your first time watching this video or hopping on this channel, welcome. And if it's your second, third, fourth, or millionth time watching any of my videos, I appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on to watch another video. Alright, so if you're on any social platform like Instagram, Snapchat, then you know how important it is to produce content consistently. So today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to quickly create micro-content with any of your photos on your phone quickly. Alright, so the first product that I'm going to share with you guys is Adobe Photoshop Express. It's honestly one of my favorite products because it's not exactly like using Photoshop, but what I can do with it is a little bit more compared to the other options I'm going to be sharing with you guys. Let's see. Actually, we got to download some content first. So I'm going to head on over to my Google Drive, which is where a lot of our clients' content and our content is kept. So I'm going to head on over there. I'm going to go to my own content to use myself as an example. And I have some new ones that I just uploaded. It's from a trip for my vlog. So the macro content, if you guys remember the video, the macro content is the long form. So the macro content was from my vlog, and then these are content that I got from there. It's like family. This is a super personal vlog. So taking my grandma back to the Philippines. Anyways, as you can see, I already have a phase 2 folder here. Let's see. I like this one. I'm goofy. I'm being goofy. iPhone's gonna be a little different. And I click these three buttons right here. It would say open in, and you choose where it says download. It would say open in, and you would take that to Adobe Photoshop Express. For me, I gotta actually download it. Now I open up Express. It's up here. Boom. And it's in there. It's up to you if you wanna start cropping it immediately. Pretty good already. Not a fan of how big my face is in there, but I really like the original size. I like the background in it. It just adds, for me, it adds depth, and it gives context to the location of where I'm at. So I'm just gonna keep it as is. So from here, at these 3 little intersecting circles is where the real magic starts happening. All of this is preset templates and filters, like how Instagram used to do it. I just like these filters a little better, in my opinion. From normal to free, charm, black and white. And this is how you would start creating your own micro content. So I'm just gonna start going through it. So this is way too contrasty for me. It looks like it's freezing cold out there. So the ones I generally look, eventually you find ones that you like most, that you're always gonna go to, because it's gonna be consistent with your aesthetic or the look you're going for. And if you click on this half picture right here, you can see the original. And I kind of like this little purple tone going on, so I click on the share button. I just save it to my gallery. I got one piece of micro content. I just keep playing with it. Like I keep clicking and see what kind of look I like. That's blown out. That looks like a really, really dramatic movie that I wouldn't watch. No, you want the filter to reflect the mood of the photo. Don't just pick a random filter and then throw it up, because lighting and shadowing conveys the mood. So if I make this super contrasty, it gets a little bit more into the dramatic realm. But so I like this. This is getting a little on the warm in stronger contrast. So it's not too bad. You also need to be very relentless in your choices. Don't try to make too much just because it kind of looks nice. Make sure it looks nice and it actually meets your standards. I'm just gonna go to ones that I know that I normally like. Right now I'm gonna go to like Vital, see how that looks. That looks like normally looks good on some other photos. So you gotta be honest with yourself. It's nostalgic, kind of like this. It's getting a little too yellow or orange for me. Too yellow, kind of like this. It looks like the kind of photo you would see in like some sort of third world country kind of ads. And it's not meant to be sad, but I kind of like this throwback feel. I'm gonna save it. Don't know if I'm ever gonna use it, but you know, Throwback Thursdays are a thing. So I'm really liking this vintage look. I know I said something about contrast, but I like this. And then this little bar right here, you can increase or decrease how much of it you want. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit, despite it being super yellow. Not a fan of how that looks. Anyways, this is just an example. Next thing is, okay, I'm gonna go back to normal, swiping all the way left. Okay, now, what if you want to edit the filters yourself or do something completely, you know, customized? You click on this little gears here, not gears, forgetting my words, but this is, you click on the third icon from the left, and this is where you start seeing all the stuff you can start changing. You can change the clarity, how sharp the photo is, the grain. So one thing I normally do, this is just how I do things, is I always go to the saturation and I drop it. And so everything is black and white. Colors aren't throwing me off. I aim to either increase or decrease the shadows. Normally for things that are super happy or upbeat, shadows aren't that crazy dense. So I push the shadows up a little bit because I'm trying to reflect the mood of joy, contrast. Maybe drop it down a tad bit. Exposure, make it a little bright. No, that's too much for me. I'm gonna go to the highlights and push that up a little bit more. Okay, not too, I'm really pushing it though. Now, okay, let's see how it looks when I push saturation back to here and I compare it to, it's a little bit of a difference. Okay, now I generally increase the sharpness as much as not all the way, but like just enough. This is stuff you have to experiment. Okay, dehaze. Kind of like how that's looking. Boom. Let's compare it from the previous. Now let's make it a little cooler. Ooh, not too cold. So that here you can tell, or you can just press the auto button, just does it for you. So it's not too bad. It actually looks pretty good. Okay, let's see if there's, oh, I generally increase the vibrance, but the colors are pretty vivid already, because if I do, it's just gonna the colors I feel like are just gonna get obnoxious. So, or you can just tone it back. Let's see what auto does, just out of curiosity. Oh, it's not bad either. Okay, so you can see the difference from before, after. So from there, I think this is good for now, just for example's sake, because there's a couple other apps I want to show you. Here, I just save the gallery, boom, and if you want to save that as a normal look, just click add and name it. Okay, okay, I already have my own custom look here. I'm not going to save it. And if there's other things too, like if you want to remove blemishes, or if you want to remove red eye, or if you want to add text to make something inspirational, but you get the point. Inspiration. When it comes to the text, make sure it also reflects the mood of the photo. So and that kind of thing I think comes with practice and getting feedback. So if you're not sure if your photo is looking good, you know, hit me up, leave a comment, ask a question, ask your friends to help you, who has that kind of eye, you know, graphic design friend, photographer friend, to give you feedback. I kind of like this. And generally, you don't want it to be like, unless this is your intention to be like, I don't know, family. That's cool too if that's your intent. Just gotta make sure your text shouldn't be the dominating factor of your photo. I think what makes inspirational quote cards or text successful is that the image itself is powerful and the text is just accessories that make it better. That's just my thoughts on that. So that's Adobe Photoshop Express and already. So as you can see, if I scroll down to, look at all these funny photos. Here, Photoshop Express, I got several versions of micro-content on the Phase 2 part. You can do the Phase 3 parts on any of this, add some nice quotes on the left here. You got your Phase 3 as well. So I generally use Photoshop Express on the go to create a lot of Phase 2 content and create my Phase 3 content on Photoshop. But if you don't have a whole lot of experience using Adobe Photoshop, the desktop, you know, creating Phase 3 content on using Adobe Photoshop Express will work. And if you're confused as hell when I'm talking about phase 1, 2, or 3, watch my friggin' micro-content video, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. So now another one that's pretty popular, everyone uses it, Vsco or Vsco, whatever it is, Vsco. I haven't used this in a while because I've been in love with Adobe Photoshop Express, but you can do the same thing here. Actually, there's some good stuff here already. Anything that you already have, let's grab that original photo. Let's see, download section right here, boom. Yeah, let's import that. You can generally go through the same process. Okay, that's done, and you can click on these little knobs here, and you can start adding filters. Okay, there's some pretty good filters on this as well, and you can lessen it or increase it. Damn, actually some of these filters are pretty good. The thing with this is that Vsco, whatever you call it, they continuously add new filters for you guys to use. So there's always going to be a fresh new look for you guys to be able to play with. The only problem is, I think, what was that? You got to pay for this? Yeah, you pay for it. That's the only thing. Like, because Photoshop Express, there's a set amount and you get what you get, and you don't get upset. But with Vsco, they're constantly coming up with new stuff for you guys to be able to use. Look how far I'm scrolling. I'm still going. Like, you know, just for like, what, $7.99 a month? No, I don't even know how much it is. If it's valuable for you, I say go for it. Similar kind of process. Let's go for, this kind of gives like an old look. I like this look right here. And then immediately you can save this, you know, and then click on this, the 3 buttons, save to gallery, as you're continuing to create more micro content. Let's go back to, let's click on this again. You can do it with like the first part of the method and just get some filters, throw it on there and save it, or you can go back to the original one and create your own. You know, same thing. I generally go, you know, saturation, drop it down, it's more like vibrancy maybe, because it's not completely black and white, and then I start adjusting. And the thing with this, I remember why I stopped using this. The thing with this is that the control with the shadows and the highlights, I don't think you don't have as much control. Let me see, I'm looking for it. No, I don't think so. There's a white balance. So does the temperature make it a little cooler or hotter? Tone. Oh, there we go. Definitely start pushing that. Yeah. So I'm not a fan of how you can control it on Vsco, whatever you call it, but it's still pretty badass. I think it's probably one of the best like filter, color correction, image editor things on your phone. So saturation, that's gonna be for when we pick that back up. Increase some of the sharpness a little bit. Just throwing in random numbers. Contrast, let's make this a little more on the contrasty side, just for a sake. Exposure, you know, I'm just playing around. So, boom. Now I'm starting to think it's a little too bright for me, so we can play that. Maybe I can tone that down a little bit, depending on your preferences. Now, skin tone, I don't know, what's that? See, that's how long I haven't used this. But this is, you know, Vsco Cam. You can add a vignette, which is like a nice little, see that? A nice little faded circle around you guys. And I think you can revert from the very beginning. I don't know what that means. Oh, you can create a recipe from everything you've done. That's cool. So pretty much saving your own filter. I don't think that you can edit text on this, which is, if you guys are trying to create phase 3 content or quote cards, I think is a pretty big deal in terms of trying to keep everything in one place. I think Vsco, Cocoa Puffs is great for creating phase 2 content. So let's just hit save on this and save to the gallery. Let's head on to the next editor that you can use. A lot of people use it. Is Canva. I don't use it that often because I'm primarily using Photoshop. So I'm going to kind of discover this with you guys. So, and those of you who are, you know, more proficient with Canva, more power to you. Canva's pretty much, as far as I know, it kind of creates, it's a lot of these templates are done for you and it's already formatted for you. You know, whether it be Instagram story, Facebook's, any kind of social platform you're looking for. Apparently, like, oh look, invitations, cards. So a lot of templates and sizes are set for you, and a lot of it is free, but just some, as you can see, this little coin on this top left for the Instagram story. Oh, I'm gonna use my mouse right here. That's where you have to pay. So it's cool freemium kind of product. So designs is where your past designs are. So YouTube channel art. So you can tell how I was just playing around with this. I don't even know what I was doing here. So from here, let's create. Let's see, Instagram post. Okay, I think this is great mainly for like flyers and stuff. I like this one. It's more for my feel. Okay, tap something to start editing. Tap. Cool. Yes. See, I've never used it. Okay, I'm gonna add this photo of me and my grand aunt, I think, if you say that. Boom. That's in there. I think this is mainly good. Just from my impression, it looks like this is mainly good for creating phase 3 kind of content. I don't know if you can actually do like filters or fixes, but oh wow, they got the fonts that I like. Oh, this is definitely great for phase 3 content. Oh, I can't edit it the way I want. The thing with Emeroy, my Emeroy TV stuff, is that a lot of my text has to have slants. I'll remove that. Okay, so if you play with it, you'll figure it out as you go. A lot of these apps are pretty straightforward, in my opinion. Just from my first impression of Canva, or actually trying to properly use it, because everything has just been like a haphazard experiment. I think it's primarily good for like phase 3 content where you're adding text after you create your phase 2 content. So again, if I'm not making sense to you, watch the micro-content video. It's just one of those things, one of those things that won't make sense until you hear it. This is why I like having variations, because then I can see what works with the text. Nope. I kind of like this. Has that more nostalgic feel. Boom. So now I have my phase 3 micro-content. Let's just download it, or whatever share means. Share. I'm share, bitch. Wow, that took a while just to make that happen. That was slow. Not a fan of that. Okay, complete action using this. I'm not sharing it to anybody. I want it saved in my device. Should be saved into my device in a separate new folder. Right here. New content. Boom. Not exactly like awe-inspiring, but you get the idea. Let's try something new. So if you want to add some more, just playing with it, you can add more text. Farm table. Farm to table. Okay. Or you can add another image within it. I'm going to add this photo of Jordan doing a deadlift. Or you can add another photo add more graphics around it, circle around it. There's a lot you can do with it. So if you want to add another design within the same kind of idea, you can go here, head on, boom, kind of dedicate this whole area to have same design or same kind of concept, and edit as you go. Or you can add a completely different template and just add it. This can be this whole like little area, this whole design can be all the promo content regarding an upcoming product, and it can be different quotes, testimonials. You can be as creative as you want. Look at this. Look how creative you can get with the shapes with this. So this is pretty awesome. I don't use Canva as much. Oh, that's really creative. I don't use Canva that much because I'm primarily using editing a lot of my content on Photoshop. But this is a great place for you to be able to do phase 3 content, even do graphic content such as this, if you have the patience and have the talent to put stuff like this. If you can, man, friggin' props to you. I don't have the patience Well, I probably do if I had to resort to it, but I honestly would much rather do this on Photoshop. Anyways, alright, so overall, just gonna go through the 3 apps on my thoughts on all of them. First off, Adobe Photoshop Express, my favorite so far in terms of quickly creating micro content for phase 2 and phase 3, and you know, probably it's not at the level as say Canva. Apparently, as you can see in the exam, as what you saw here, this is so bad. In terms of keeping everything in one place, Adobe Photoshop Express is definitely kick-ass at it. Now, in terms of creating really good phase 2 content, I think Vsco Cam does an amazing job, especially with the amount of filters you can get if you get the subscription, or you know, or any filters that you can create. But then again, you can create your own custom filter on Adobe Photoshop Express. Again, goes back to me favoriting trying to keep everything in one place. But if you really want to have kick-ass phase 2 content, which is, you know, modifying and doing color corrections, and just doing a whole bunch of other not insanely graphical stuff, but more like you know, changing the color overall, or getting a black and white photo, Vsco Cam is the way to go. And the last is Canva. I think it's pretty badass. I haven't used it that much, but first impressions, in terms of creating dope phase 2 and phase 3 content, primarily phase 3 because of what I just showed you in terms of creating that text. If you're really creative with it, I think you can create some bomb ass, some dope, amazing phase 2, phase 3 content on it. Probably a little heavier on using phase 3, which is more quote cards on these photos. And if you're really creative, you can use the shapes and other elements that you can have, such as adding graphics and making your photos pop even more. So those are my thoughts. Overall, I prefer Photoshop Express because of everything being in one place. Those are 3 options for you to be able to play with. Let me know which ones are your favorites, if you're already using one, or if there's any that you happen to be using and that I didn't mention today. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys got any questions, comments, leave them down below. And if you like this video, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this with friends who you think might benefit from it. And also make sure you hit the bell button so you guys are getting notifications whenever I release a new video. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.